Today, I will do a full comparison between the top two Marriott properties in the Maldives, the Ritz-Carlton and the St Regis. If you can only pick one for your trip to the Maldives, I hope this information helps you out. Stay tuned. Hey everyone! Welcome to my channel. I hope you've enjoyed the series covering our 10-day trip to the Maldives. This was definitely a bucket list trip for us, just like a lot of people, and it was one of the most difficult trips to plan due to so many different variables from cost, distance, and the large number of resorts available. For our trip, we flew Qatar Q Suites using American airline points, which limited the dates and duration in which we could travel. Fortunately, the dates were perfect for us. If you missed the review on the flight, you can find the video on this channel. While you're at it, if you like to see travel related content like this, and please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn on notifications so you know when I release the new content. We have been saving Marriott points for some time for this trip, so that made the decision of where to book much easier. Once we started the process of planning the trip, we started learning about all the obstacles and choices that are present when visiting the Maldives, like boat and seaplane transfers, and the huge amount of resorts that are spread out all over the Maldives. We wanted to utilize Marriott's 5th night free benefit when using points, so that meant we would spend a minimum of 5 nights at one resort. Since we were flying from the United States, we needed to figure out if we were going to stay longer and would we stay at one resort or visit two, which meant additional transfer cost as well as losing 1 day of traveling to a second resort. My recommendation, if you're traveling from the United States, is to stay at one resort for 7 days or split it up between 2 resorts with 5 days at each. Anything over 7 days at one resort seems to be a little bit excessive. Even though we lost most of 1 day in travel, we were ready for a change of scenery after 5 days. Now let's compare resorts, but before I get started, let me just make it clear that both of these properties are some of the best in the Marriott collection, and in me picking one over the other, I'm strictly doing so for those that are trying to decide on one to pick. Villas. If you're going to the Maldives for the first time, then you're probably wanting to stay at one of those iconic water villas. And when it comes to the villas, both resorts offer a luxurious and comfortable experience. The St Regis opened in 2016, and while the villas are showing a little bit of wear and tear, overall they're still in excellent condition. In fact, the resort was closed over the summer of 2022 for renovations, and the type of degradation you will see is mostly on the outer portions of the villas as well as some rust below the villas, but nothing that should impact your stay. Insides of the St Regis villas are luxurious and much more spacious than the Ritz villas, but the round space of the Ritz villas is perfectly utilized, so this is almost a non-factor. When it comes to the style of the villas, furniture, and the color palette, I much more prefer the St Regis villas than the Ritz villas. The bottom line, when it comes to the St Regis villas, they hold up tremendously well considering they're 5 years older than the Ritz villas, which opened up in 2021. Now the Ritz villas had 2 things that I much more prefer that were pretty big deal for me. First is the sleep quality. All the beds and air conditioning were great at both villas. I didn't sleep as well at the St Regis a few nights. For some reason, the sheets and comforters didn't breathe too well, and we slept hot some nights even with just a single sheet. While at the Ritz, we slept tremendously well, fully covered up. Other big thing for me with the Ritz is how open the villas felt when we were hanging out inside. This is where the circular design of the villas is brilliant because a large portion of the villa is open windows, which allowed a lot of light, but also gave the feel that we were outside and close to the water. Additionally, the villas at the Ritz are inside the lagoon, which has crystal clear waters and also sort of enhanced the feeling of being at the Maldives. The waters around the St Regis were much darker blue. They just didn't feel like necessarily we were at the Maldives, but just at some nice resort somewhere in the world. If you're concerned about privacy, then a greater portion of the Ritz villas are isolated from the views of others, while you have nearly half of the St Regis villas that will face other villas or even restaurants. For me, the winner when it comes to the villas, it's the Ritz for the open design and the surroundings. Now let's talk about service. This is the one thing that stood out in almost every review we read about the St Regis, and I have to agree, there's something magical about the service that is hard to describe. From the moment we were greeted at the airport, we knew we were in for an amazing experience. Pictures are taken of you at the lounge, so the staff at the resort knew who everyone was, and this made such a big difference to how we were greeted every everywhere. The service felt very warm and personable, especially when it came to our butlers. This could be just an individual situation, but our butler at the St Regis made us feel like family. At the Ritz, we just felt like just another visitors at times. Some people might prefer personal experience like the St Regis offers, and others like the business approach of the Ritz-Carlton butler service. One of the areas difference in service was really noticeable was each time we encountered staff anywhere on the resort ground. At each resort, the staff will give you a traditional Islamic greeting, which takes the form of placing your right hand over your heart, which means you're welcomed with respect and appreciation. Every time we were greeted at the St Regis, eye contact was made and the greeting was done with intention. Many times at the Ritz-Carlton, we got the greeting, but no eye contact was made, or the hand gesture was kind of half done, and on several occasions we were just completely ignored. Service was excellent, but not perfect at both the resorts. But the winner for me here is the St Regis for the warmth the service provided. In regards to the islands and facilities, these two properties are a night and day different. St Regis is on a natural island with jungle vibes, and it's pretty magical riding your bikes along the paths of the island at night. And then the trees provide great shade from the sun during the day. Fortunately, erosion has done a big number on this island, and the beach has completely disappeared from some sections of the resort. So if you're looking for those white sand beaches and crystal clear waters, the St Regis is going to have very limited opportunities for that. The restaurants and facilities are all inside the island in a circle formation, making it easy to get to if you're riding from your bikes from the villas, as compared to the Ritz, where the island is one big linear setup. And if you're on the overwater villas at the Ritz, you can have a longer bike ride to get to dinner. Keep in mind that if you have mobility issues though, your butler will be more than happy to take you and pick you up anywhere in the island at both resorts in their golf carts. If you're seeking more of a beach vibe, then the Ritz-Carlton is the way to go. The island felt much more open and the facilities were a step up from the St Regis in many aspects, mostly due to it being a much newer resort. The beach area was much more inviting than the St Regis, and the blue waters found at the Ritz are exactly what you see in all the marketing pictures. If you have children, then they will greatly appreciate the kids club with the water slides and a wide variety of toys and activities available. The gym at the Ritz was 4 times the size of St Regis and has great views of the beach, while the gym at the St Regis is hidden inside the jungle settings of the island. For me, being able to see the beach while we worked out was a really nice treat, and we used the gym twice at the Ritz and just visited the St Regis. Another major benefit of the Ritz is having access to sister property Patina Island. They have a boat ferry that takes you between both islands, and there are more restaurants to eat at, as well as some cool things to check out like the James Turrell art display, which I think is a must. During an extended stay at a resort, being able to have a change of scenery is just such a big plus. The winner for me is the Ritz-Carlton. While the St Regis is a beautiful resort, it just doesn't feel like the Maldives. I got that feeling at the Ritz-Carlton. Snorkeling, I could add this as part of my grade for the island and facilities, but this one deserves its own grade. A lot of people go to the Maldives with the expectation of snorkeling either outside of the villas or via excursion. Trade-off of having beautiful crystal clear waters at the Ritz from the lagoon is that there's almost no snorkeling to be had. There are some corals beginning to form, but I suspect we're about 3 to 4 years away before the snorkeling at the Ritz from your villas will be any good. St Regis, on the other hand, has 2 great reefs to snorkel in, and one of them is located close to the sunset side of the villas. If snorkeling from your villas is important, then the St Regis is the clear winner here. Now let's talk food. The fact that the resorts of remote islands like these can provide such great quality, fresh foods to me is just a logistics miracle. Not only that, but they have such a wide range of taste palettes that they have to feed, and they do a tremendous job of doing so. Food prices on both resorts are going to be on the very high end side of most resorts in the Maldives, so be prepared. At the St Regis, the clear favorite for me, as well as many others in different forums, is the breakfast buffet. Not only was everything I tried amazing, the visual presentation is the best I've ever seen for any buffet in the world. There are so many different types of food from different regions. The Western breakfast items were plentiful compared to the Ritz. I looked forward to going to eat each morning and try new things, and I didn't even get to try half of the offerings at the buffet. I found the Ritz buffet to be nowhere near as good in quality or presentation, but the options available from the a la carte side were much better, and I highly recommend you take advantage of those since they are included with the buffet price at the Ritz as well as the St. Regis. In regards to the restaurants, for dinner and lunch, I found the Ritz to be slightly better in taste and quality than the St. Regis. Some of our meals lacked flavor at the St. Regis, and outside of some steaks we had at the Whale Bar, most meals were not memorable. Maybe our expectations were a bit high for a 5-star resort here. Getting preferred reservations at the St. Regis was also a big struggle due to the limited capacity of restaurant venues. Eventually, after talking to the staff and our butler each night, we were able to get the times we wanted, even though the restaurants looked empty at those times. At the Ritz-Carlton, you have the restaurants on the property, but you also have several options at the nearby Patina Island Resort, where we had our favorite meal of the stay at the Arabesque restaurant. We did partake in the Maldivian Nights themed dinner buffet, which was excellent at a cost of $225 per person, which sounds like a lot of money, but is actually a good deal considering we spent around $400 each night on dinner at both resorts. When it comes to food, I have to give the slight nod to the Ritz-Carlton for the variety of restaurants they have. Taste when it comes to food, I know is subjective. I really love the buffet for breakfast at the St. Regis, almost enough to give the win here to the St. Regis, but there are just many more opportunities to have a great meal at the Ritz due to having access to islands than the limited selection at the St. Regis. Speaking about food and buffet, let's talk about which resort is best for Marriott Elite's Platinum and up. That buffet that I loved at the St. Regis, it's $65 a person, but if you're Platinum status or higher, then you get 2 buffets for free daily, and it saved us over $650 over a 5-day stay versus the Ritz, which is a lot of money and a really big factor to consider here. We were also offered a 2-bedroom villa upgrade at the St. Regis that would have normally cost $30,000 for the 5-day stay. We turned it down, and I made a whole video about it if you want to learn about the reasons. Ritz-Carlton properties are exempt from providing these types of elite benefits, and in the Maldives, it's no different. We were offered a discounted rate of $65 for breakfast as an elite, but after speaking to another couple, we found out that you can get breakfast at $50 if you prepay for it. The Ritz does offer a few small discounts for elites, but it was in restaurants for lunch that were usually empty. So if you're looking to maximize your elite status, then the St. Regis is the clear winner here. I wanted to mention location because this can play a factor in picking one of these 2 resorts. You can have the option to go to the Ritz via seaplane or boat. This flexibility, we chose the Ritz as the second part of our stay in order to be able to stay at the resort longer since our flight was leaving at night. The only option for travel to the St. Regis is via seaplane. The last one leaves around 3 p.m., which would have meant a long wait for our flight at the airport. Ritz-Carlton boat transfer goes on much later. They took us back much closer to our flight time, which was very convenient for us. If you're looking at booking 2 resorts and need to transfer from one to the other, the Ritz can save you some time on your day of travel between resorts. Well, I have given you my thoughts on both resorts, and if I had to pick one, which one would I pick? Well, for me, it's the Ritz-Carlton. I would go